Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Single Parents Podcast,
the show that is far from traditional.
If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe, share the podcast with a friend, and maybe even rate the show 5 stars on your favorite podcast hosting platform.
Here's a sneak peek for today's episode.
And I am a psychopath. So, because I was in such, a fucked up, head space, I would drive past his house. Hey, you party people. I've missed you. Anthony has missed you. I know we've been a little bit MIA the past few weeks. I mean, I did a solo episode, but Anthony...
It was very good. It was very good. I learned so much about Siesta Key from that video. Is very informative. I just want to say thank you. If you guys didn't watch the video or listen to it, you should go back and do that now. Well, yeah, you can do it now, or you could do it after this podcast, whatever tickles your fancy. But Jess, if you did watch it, you saw that Jess was dying through that whole recording session. I felt so bad when I was editing it because I had to edit out so many times when she was just like, I don't know if I could keep doing this. But she troopered through it. So thank you for doing that.
Oh my God, I was struggling so bad. I just was sitting outside. I thought it'd be perfect for the vibes, the views. And my allergies were kicking my ass.
Yeah.
But now I'm taking allergy pills, so the spring is not hitting me hard. So, I'm feeling good. But, you haven't been around for a couple weeks, which means that we haven't been able to, gossip for a couple weeks, honestly. And I know we do be loving our gossiping. There's so many things that have taken place within the past, 2-3 weeks, honestly.
That's a good point. I think kind of maybe the state of, the average American person is in reflection of kind of, I think, where our mind goes when it comes to reflecting on all the things that may have happened in the world the last couple of weeks, because, there's stuff happening all over the world and big events and people going to space, and we're in just such crazy times historically. But, and I know this because we kind of talked a little bit before recording, but a lot of the stuff that seems to be on our minds right now has to deal with reality shows, influencers, people on TikTok. And that's just how it is. I know there's a lot of, I get it. There's a lot more important things going on in the world. There's a lot of other things we could be focusing on, but I'm sorry. I love myself some good reality show tea, some reality show goss, and I know you do too, Jess, right?
Oh my God, I literally eat that shit up. So anytime something is happening, especially my sister-in-law, we are crazy, we're dogs for it, so anything that's happening with especially social media or influencer reality TV stars of shows that we watch, we are for sure texting each other back and forth and sharing videos, well, I guess I don't have a Twitter, or it's not even called Twitter anymore, X, whatever. Sharing those posts, Instagram posts, TikToks, everything, because we just live for the drama and the tea. And it's so crazy because you try and make sense of everything. You're like, how could this one person be acting this way or doing these things?
Yeah.
And then once you sit back and actually think about it, you're like, damn, they must be going through such a tough time, because I feel like people are so quick to judge and just make accusations and comment stupid, crazy shit on social media. And then when you think about it and you're like, damn, I wonder what's actually going on with them and what they're experiencing. So that's kind of what's been on my mind with it all.
Yeah, I said this a couple of episodes ago and I meant it. You actually helped me gain that perspective when it comes to people online, when you shared your story about going viral on TikTok and the real messages you got. That just showed me that, hey, these people, even if it is not just TikTok, but people on reality shows, TV, or just people in general, they're people. So we're hearing stories and headlines and retweets and reposts about these people, but we don't fully know what's going on, and they're not characters a lot of the times, especially when it comes to reality TV, they're not portraying a character in a movie. Like, these are real people with real lives and real kids sometimes involved. And so I have just had that perspective and kept that in mind over the last couple of weeks, as a lot of just stuff has just gone down in the reality show world. And one big thing in particular that we haven't had a chance to talk about since it all blew up because of vacations and sicknesses and Easter and holidays and whatever. But we have some time now, so I want to get into it. But we originally, just for a little behind the scenes, when they announced that Taylor Frankie Paul was going to be the Bachelorette, they announced that a while ago. Jess and I immediately were like, we need to jump on that season of The Bachelorette. We need to like do some like recaps of the episodes. We're going to talk about that because obviously she fits into our demographic of being a single parent. And I know Jess has just been a big fan of the show, or a big viewer of the show for a while. And so we were planning on like being on it when it came to covering that season of The Bachelorette. But as many of you know, because it's been a few weeks since everything kind of blew up, that season of The Bachelorette didn't end up airing, and a lot of stuff has gone down. So I don't think we really need to spend time recapping all that stuff as to like what happened or whatever, because I think people, especially if they clicked on this episode title, like they know, they get it, they've heard, there's thousands of videos explaining stuff out there. But I haven't had a chance to really hear, Jess, your thoughts on the situation, your reaction to the situation, because of just the fact we've just been traveling and doing life and stuff like that. So I want to turn it over to you because I know you have thoughts. So when we're talking about Taylor Frankie Paul, Mormon Wives, Bachelorette, TMZ, all the things, what are your big thoughts?
Well, first of all, like Taylor Frankie Paul is definitely not the only Secret Life of Mormon Wives character or mother that I want to talk about. I want to talk about everything that happened with Jesse Draper too. And that I gotta actually tell you, like, I don't know if you know, like everything that happened with her, but we gotta like jump into that too, because I feel like both of them can connect in a certain way. But we're gonna start with Taylor Frankie Paul. I love her on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I loved her on season 1, loved her on season 2. What it just aired, was that season 3 or season 4? I don't know. I guess I'll just say, like, as the seasons progressed, I was like, why am I not like loving her anymore? Because I feel like she's just making these stupid, dumb decisions for herself when it comes to dating. I love how she is like, I mean, you don't really know what goes on between like what's actually aired and like, you know, what actually goes on at home and things like that. But she seems to be like a great nurturing mom. And something that I really like about her is her personality. Like, she is just super blunt and to the point. And she also is like really good at taking accountability for like her actions and realizing when mistakes are made or when she does some stupid shit, like sleeping with a guy that she's not supposed to be sleeping with. So I adore her in that sense, because I feel like I'm really like blunt and to the point, and sometimes it could be seen as harsh, but I also just feel like I don't want to have to tiptoe around someone. And I feel like she does that. She just like says whatever she needs to say. Sometimes the things that she does say are a little bit cuckoo. And like, you know, she's like all tied up with her baby daddy, Dakota.
Right.
And everything that came out with that and the videos being released, because I know you were sending them to me and like basically freaking out about like all that shit that was going down. And me being the investigator I am, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't think this is a new video. I think this is old, because I swear that shirt that she's wearing is probably in the body cam footage. And so what did I do? I did all my research and I was like, this is actually an old video. It's the same from the body cam footage and stuff. And so me being such a Taylor Frankie Paul stan, when I saw that, I was just so incredibly disappointed, because she's somebody that I maybe not like look up to or like aspire to be like, but I just like really enjoy her as a person and how tough she is, or, you know, whatever it is. So I was really disappointed when I saw that. But the more I like sat and thought about it, I was like, how like fucked up do you need to be in your head to be doing those things that she was doing in the video with a child present? She had to literally be seeing red. Like she was seeing red and red only to make the decisions that she made. And to not be embarrassed by something being filmed or whatever, she really like just fucked up in that sense. And like her brain had to just be so beyond fucked up that she like couldn't even make a true, good, healthy decision for herself and her child. And so I was trying to like put myself in her shoes. And there was definitely a point in time where like, you know how when they like call like, you know, ex-girlfriends crazy and stuff? Like that's just like a thing. I think back to one ex-boyfriend that I had, and he like fully should, and I'm sure he does, tell everybody that I was crazy because
Oh, really? Wow.
yes, because I was in such like a bad mental spot with dating this guy that it brought me to places that I've never been before. And like I would consider myself a pretty sane and stable person for the most part, but I was so mentally unstable. And so like I know we're talking about Taylor Frankie Paul, but let me just share this story because you guys,
Yeah, go for it.
because I just want to show that like me being a human being who like talks to you guys every week and you guys hear about my life and my opinions and whatever it is, like this is like a true story of dumb shit that I did because I was so fucked up in my head in this relationship that I was in. So this is like real raw. This guy that I was dating, I was so in love with. I was like, he was just like Prince Charming. He was tall, handsome, athletic. Like he was a great like people person. And this is not my baby daddy. Just so you guys
Okay,
know,
sure.
this is not my baby daddy. But like he was just like everything that a woman would want, you know, treats you well, successful, whatever. Like he's good with people, like outgoing, funny, like, you know, does small acts of kindness. And so that was kind of like before he even became my boyfriend. And then maybe within like the first month or two of dating, that's how it was. And then, you know, as he slowly got more comfortable, he changed, you know, because you're in that like honeymoon stage. So you come out of that honeymoon stage and he was just like so, I don't know if emotionally abusive. Maybe you could like tell me if this is like, if this is emotional abuse, but like he fucked with my head so much to where like we would have plans to like do something and he would just like totally like ghost me for the day. And then and then I would be like calling and texting him. And I'm telling you, like I would call and text him like constantly a bajillion times because we had plans. Like, and I was so in love with him that like I always wanted to be with him. So like if we had dinner and like movie plans, like I wanted that to fucking happen because I wanted to spend time with this guy that I was obsessed with. And he would just ghost me. This guy is supposed to be my boyfriend. And for him, if I'm like, oh, hey, like, what time are you coming over today? If he just like never answered and then ghosted me for like 3 days.
3 days? Oh, no,
Yeah.
couldn't be me.
And
I could not deal with that.
yeah, and he just like wouldn't answer me and like, and I am a psychopath. So like because I was in such like a fucked up like head space, I would drive past his house. I would drive where he like lived to see if his car was there. And I'm like, is he there? Is he out? Is somebody else there? Like, why has he been ignoring me for X amount of days? And sometimes I would even park across the street and like sit and wait. Like if his car wasn't there, I would sit there and wait to see when he would come home. Like, you know how fucked up you have to be in the head to do some shit like that? I have never, ever, ever done anything like that in my life. But he brought me to this like point where he just like fucked with my head so much. Like, and he like, it just drove me nuts that like he would be so nurturing and loving. And then like the next second, like he would just like disappear. Turns out he was cheating on me for those who want to know.
Yeah.
So so like
sounds about right.
within good reason that I have like these fucked up things, like driving past his house, parking across the street, and like stalking. Like that is fucked up. And like I'm okay to admit that because I know that I was so freaked up in my head. And there was a point in time where like he like said that he like wanted to break up with me or something like that. And I was like, and it was just kind of like out of the blue. And I was like, well, we should probably like meet up and talk about this and whatever. But I felt like it was something that we just needed to, when you're going through a breakup, like, and you're a mature adult, you don't just do it in a text message and just out of the blue. You usually meet up, you sit down and talk and whatever, exchange clothes or things, whatever. And so like, because he did that, I, drove to his house and I was like knocking on his door and he was like ignoring me. Like I knew that he was home because his car was there. And I saw like through the window that like a candle was lit. And I'm like, well, you're not going to leave the house and walk down the street if you have a candle lit in your kitchen.
Yeah.
And so this is real raw. I mean, this is so embarrassing to admit, but I know that I was just so mentally messed up. He lived, it was in like a duplex and he was upstairs and the person downstairs was basically like his landlord. I went downstairs and knocked on the landlord's door and was like, is he home? Like, I need to get into that place. And he's like, I can't do that. And I'm like almost crying, like shaking because like you can't like feel anything else because you're so fucked up in the head because of like what this person may be putting you through, or like maybe I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. Maybe I needed to mature more. I probably should have broke up with him once he started doing those terrible things to me, but I was so in love with him that I was just I couldn't, like, I craved him all the time. So like I would take like one good moment for every like 10 bad moments, which like is not healthy. So young, immature, I had a lot to learn in that relationship. I should have broke up with him like a long time before we actually ended up breaking up. And so like when I see all the stuff that happens with Taylor, I'm like, that man, Dakota, probably caused her. I mean, probably both of them. Like they were probably just both so toxic to each other that like, but in that moment, there was something that triggered her, which I think had to do with like him cheating on her or something like that. And so like she was just so fucked up in the head that she just could not make a sane decision. And I know exactly how that feels. Like you can't control these like bad impulses. Like you literally just can't think properly. So that's how I feel about that whole situation. I feel really, really bad for her. And I feel bad that it had to come out the way that it did. And I feel bad that her, her season of The Bachelorette didn't air. But I also know that like, although like I would love her as The Bachelorette, I think she still needs a lot more time to heal before she like goes through dating 20 guys. I think she probably has a lot of codependency on a partner. And that's why she still messes around with Dakota. And I mean, we don't really know what's going on now because we don't know if she ended up with somebody at the end of her Bachelorette season, but I think she has a lot of healing to do. And that's what I have to say about that.
No, that's good insight. I appreciate you sharing your perspective because I agree. Like, I think that most people, and I'm sure there's some exceptions out there, but I would say like most people have gone through a time when they were a teenager, early 20s, whatever, in which you've been in a relationship that just makes you a little bit crazy. Like, obviously, I'm not, and I know that you feel the same. Like, we're not saying that, what she did especially with the child around was okay. Like that was not cool. That's, we're not trying to like make excuses for putting kids in that situation. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree that taking somebody on their worst day, especially when it comes to relationship, and making that the whole person's identity or making that all that the person is, like, you just gotta be careful when you do that part because, like I said, we've all had a little crazy spell when it comes to relationship. I've done that same thing where I wasn't even dating the girl. Like we were just talking, I guess. And I didn't hear her wasn't 3 days. That would literally send me over a cliff. Hers was just like few hours. She was coming home from like a trip or something. I hadn't heard from her And so I did the same thing. I drove past her house and there was somebody's car like in front of her house. So I got out and I knocked on the door, and I didn't even remember what I said. I just said something like, "Oh, just checking to make sure you were like back in town, but there's somebody on her couch." And that was fine for her to do because like we weren't dating, but like, I don't know. I was just same thing. I saw, anyways, I know exactly what that feeling looks like. I've been there, and I'm sure most people have. And so I think there needs to be some grace given because we've all had bad days, and that's totally understandable. But I am very disappointed as well that the season didn't get to be premiered, mostly because I am like a huge reality show junkie. Like I've said this on the show. We talked about this on the show lots and lots of times. But like if you're new, like I love me some reality dating shows. Like right now I'm watching what am I? I'm watching a show on Netflix called Temptation Island right now. I'm gonna watch that before bed. Last week I watched a show called Love Overboard on Hulu. And there's like, I don't know, there's just a lot of, and I was going to be watching The Bachelorette. I guess technically right now the season would still be on. That's just my guilty pleasure. People might judge or think that's weird for a straight dude to sit around watching reality dating shows all day. Number one, really don't care. Like, that's just what I like. And number two, like, I was thinking about this. Like, I think the reason why I like watching those shows is because, like, as a single parent, single dad, like, because I'm the only adult in the house, I have to like literally think through everything. So I got to think through dinner and when to put on the laundry and what homework needs to be done and when softball practice is and how to coordinate softball practice with getting homework done and getting them to bed on time and my day job and the podcast. And there's just so much. So I love, even if it's just like an hour at the end of the day, to have something to where I don't have to be thinking. I don't have to be figuring something out. I just get to sit on the couch and I don't even have to be fully paying attention. Like there's times where I'm watching like a reality show, but I have my laptop on and there's a basketball game going on at the same time, or maybe I'm scrolling through Twitter at the same time because it's just trash, right? Like it's not rocket science. It's not deep. It's just hot, half naked people on a beach kissing each other. Like it's not that deep, but I can just sit and turn my brain off for that hour watching hot, half naked people kiss each other. And it's nice being able to have something that I can just turn my brain off and I don't have to figure something out. So that's why I love these shows so much, because it's good for as much people
outlet.
might not get this. It's just, yeah, it's a good outlet. It's good for it's weird as this might sound, it's good for my mental health because I don't think I can mentally handle a full straight day of having to figure out every little detail of life. It just would not be healthy. And so maybe, I do other things to help with that. Like I like going on walks and I like just kind of sitting on my porch and just watching the sunset and stuff like that. But that's why I like reality shows so much. So I was bummed that the season got canceled. That is kind of lame, but like you said, it's probably for the best because she probably needs to focus on some stuff for herself. And I know you want to talk about the other person on Mormon Wives, but I think this is a perfect segue just to a halfway point in the show question that I want to ask you. Because a lot of stuff with the Taylor Frankie Paul stuff and some other reality shows that have come out the last past year have featured single parents, or at least have contestants on the show who are single parents. And I've been hearing this common statement or opinion that single parents shouldn't be going on these reality shows in general because often, especially if it's a reality dating show, I guess I should clarify that. We're not talking about like Survivor or anything like that, but like reality dating shows where the point is to like meet somebody, fall in love. Sometimes if it's a show like Love is Blind or something, like you're getting engaged within 6 weeks or something like that. It's pretty quick for like a big life change like that. And so a lot of people think that single parents shouldn't even be allowed to be on these shows because to meet somebody, to date them, to introduce them to your kid and to potentially marry them within a month or two is a lot. And it's a lot to like ask your kid to be like, hey, I met so-and-so on a beach in and Mexico, and now we're engaged, and this is going to be your new stepdad or your new stepmom, and all these different things. And so a lot of people have strong opinions about the fact that single parents shouldn't even be going on these shows. So I was just curious, what is your thought on that opinion? Do you agree? Do you think it's not that deep? Like, what is your thought on?
I feel like this is something that we might have brought up before on the podcast, because I basically was explaining, like, when you go on a reality TV show as a single parent, there are pros and cons. Okay, so pro, like, you're putting yourself in a situation to where you could meet someone.
Yep.
But are you actually going to be there and like really find somebody? Like, are you going to find your Prince Charming when you're on this show? Like, when things are rushed and circumstances are just perfect because you guys are living in this house and whatever, and you have dates set up and all of that and activities and whatever. But when you get back to reality with like your children and real life issues when it comes to jobs and finances and bills and groceries and laundry and all the things, like, your circumstances change, I mean, like, significantly. So
Yeah.
if it worked with this guy in that situation, is it really actually going to work out, like, when you get back to your normal life? I would say probably not. So when a single parent decides to go on a reality dating show or reality TV, like, I don't know if they're truly there to find love, but I'll tell you what they are there for. They are there for the clout and the brand deals and all the opportunities that they're going to have after. So,
True.
you know, people like to hate on the single parents, and they're, you know, like when we talked about Huda, I think, and
Yeah, maybe
you
that
know,
was it. Yeah.
I think we maybe talked about Huda and like how people were like, you're abandoning your kid. And like, it's like, well, like, I guess she's away for a little bit. And as long as she has a good support system, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And is she going to find love? Most likely no. But I'll tell you what, she is going to have a lifelong of opportunity to where she's never going to have to work a 9 to 5 ever again.
True.
So
True.
yeah, so I feel like she's going and making a better future for her and her child. So that's how I feel when it comes to reality TV and single parents. Like, sure, you're putting yourself in a situation that maybe could work out. It most likely won't,
Right.
but there could be a
Yeah.
possibility that it does. But you are doing it because you're going to have opportunities for the rest of your life now, most likely, and you'll be set. So you'll never have to work like an extra day in your life with a 9 to 5. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I feel like they should be allowed to do it. I mean, obviously don't abandon your kids and like make stupid decisions. If you know that you can and you have a good support system, then you should be allowed to do it because you're actually helping you and your children for a better future.
True. Yeah, I agree. I think it's not that deep. Like, I get why people say they shouldn't, because I guess they're just looking out for the kids. But in my circumstance, I guess I could talk for myself. Like, maybe I shared this on the show before. Like, I have like interviewed for a couple of reality shows with like actual casting producers, like over Zoom and stuff like that. And one of them got so far into the process that I had to talk to my girls' mom about the fact that, like, hey, so there's a chance this could happen, and I would have to leave for, I think they were filming in London for, I think you had to commit to a month or two, depending on how far you made it in the show. And like, I had to coordinate a lot of that with her, and we were having like those legit conversations, and I had her support because she knows, like, I love reality TV. Like, it's always been my dream, even before I had kids, to go on one. So we were talking through it. And I think that, like you said something pretty big, like having that support system is huge, and something I don't think is like often considered when they talk about single parents going on the show, is that if you have, let's say you're co-parenting and you have, in Huda's case, like her daughter's dad there taking care. Again, I almost slipped up and said what I hate when people say. I almost said that, and he's watching the daughter. He's not watching the daughter, it's his daughter, so he's raising his daughter. I almost slipped up there. So like, he's raising his daughter. His daughter's with him, then if he's okay with like, hey, like, sure, like if you want to go be on Love Island for the summer, I'm taking care of our daughter, go do what you got to do, you know, it's all good, then I don't see what that issue would be. I think if it turns into like maybe a fight, or if it really causes strife and it's not healthy for the kid because it's bringing up other problems, then maybe you might want to reconsider. But in Huda's case, in my case, and some other these cases, if the other parent especially, or if you have family, grandparents, whatever, is like, no, it's fine, we got little Timmy, like, I go ahead, do what you got to do, then I think that's ultimately up to the parents as to whether or not they're comfortable with that. And let's just say they go on the show and they do meet somebody and they bring them and introduce them to little Timmy or whatever. Then I think, I don't know, like, it falls under to the same category. And I have a follow-up question for you because I don't remember if we talked about this before, but I'm sure we have, but I'll just bring it up again. It falls under to the same category as if, like, okay, you meet somebody, you're vibing with them and you want to be in a relationship with them. Like, what is the protocol when it comes to introducing that person to your kid? So if you meet somebody on a show, you're talking to them for a month or two, and then you bring them back to introduce them to your kid. Is that something you're comfortable with, just as if you met somebody at work talking for a couple of months and then you want to introduce them to your kid? Or do you have a hard rule like, no, I don't introduce anybody to my kid for like 6 months? Then if that's your rule, then you probably shouldn't go on a reality dating show in general, because you're being kind of maybe, I don't know if hypocritical is the right word, but you're kind of have some double standards there. But if you're like, no, I'm fine introducing with somebody with my kid after a month or so, then in my opinion, I don't see that being so different than meeting them like at the bar or at work or something like that. It's just weird circumstances because you're meeting them on a reality show. But I guess my point is, if you're okay with a certain timeline introducing them to your kids, then ultimately I think that's just up to you and maybe the co-parent or whatever. So I guess to make it this more of a broader conversation that more people can relate to, because I'm sure not everybody's weird like me and wants to go on reality TV, so a lot of people can't relate to that. But I'm sure people can relate, like, timelines when it comes to how soon is too soon introducing people to our kids. For you, like I said, we might have talked about this before, but for you, like, do you have like a solid, unchanging, can't break this timeline when it comes to introducing people to Grayson, or are you more fluid? Kind of depends on the person you're seeing. Like, what does that look like for you?
For me, I don't have any like super strict hard rules to where I'm like, we have to be dating for 6 months or, a year before you meet my son. Like, that's not how I feel, because I feel like every situation is so different. And I am the type of person that gets like anxious when things are way too formal. Like,
I can see that.
I'm more just like nonchalant, like chill. Like, I don't want things to be super formal because I don't know, like I just feel like it's too stressful. I mean, job interviews, those are like so formal and so stressful and nerve-wracking. Or like when you want to like talk to somebody about a disagreement or a fight that you had or whatever, I am all about just like chill vibes, nonchalant,
Sure.
like TV
Yeah.
on in the background, checking our phones every once in a while. I don't know, like I just feel like
Yeah.
if it's too formal, then it's just intimidating and too scary, and I feel like you can't even express, you know, what you truly want to express. I don't know if that
Yeah.
even makes sense. But so when
Yeah.
it comes to someone meeting my son, because every situation is so different and I like things just like chill and flexible, I'm definitely not the type of person to be like, hey, come over for our first date. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
that's not what's
Sure.
happening. Like, I want to go out with you like a handful of times, and like, who knows, is that like once a week? Are we seeing each other like twice a week? Like, are we seeing each other once every 2 weeks and then eventually it moves to 1 week? Like, I feel like there's no like timeline to be like, okay, now we're seeing each other once a week. Like, I just feel like chill vibes whenever we have the availability to like see each other. And who knows, like maybe even after like 4 dates, I want to be like, I do really like him and I want to see, like, to get me to that next level, I want to see how he interacts with my son. So maybe like we all go out to lunch together or dinner or whatever. And then eventually you could come to my house and like play with him in our environment. But, you know, our house is like a safe space. So it's like, you know, you see so many people in public like constantly. Like you go out to dinner and you have a new server every single time. And like,
Right.
and I don't even know. Is this weird to say? Like, I feel like you build some sort of relationship like with your server, you know, like if they're
True.
nice
Yeah.
and, you know, good tips and, you know, them serving your food correctly or whatever it is, like, and, you know, if you have your kids go to the restaurant with you and they're like ordering themselves, like they are interacting with this person or like, I don't know, like it's not for me, but I guess it's also because Grayson is so little. So like Grayson is still so little to where I feel like nonchalant and like chill about it. But I mean, you're not coming over like within the first like week or two. You're just not like that's not what's going to happen. But I guess like for you, it's different because your girls are older. So like that would be something where you would explain to them, like, this is the girl I'm dating. Like, I like her. I want to know what your opinion is. Like, do you think I like should keep dating her? Like, do you see her fitting in with our family or whatever it may be? So for me, it's like different, but I don't know. What about for you? Because your girls are older and understand.
Yeah, I think it gets trickier. You're right. The older my girls get, I have to think through this more because, I mean, I just don't know 100% even what that looks like because I haven't had like a real relationship with them since their mom and I got divorced many, many years ago. Like I've had like situationships and stuff like that. But it's easy for me, I guess, to separate those a little bit because I do like week on, week off co-parenting. So like if I have like a situationship going on, then I just hang out with that person when the girls are with their mom. And then when the girls come back to me, like we're still texting and maybe calling, but like we're not hanging out a lot because I'm just focused on my girls and then vice versa. But it's never gotten to a point where I've had to think about that next step about introducing her to the girls. Just never done that. But now that they're older, it would be interesting because now them being soon to be 10 and 11 years old, they know what dating is. They know what all that stuff's about. And they have like their own rules and their own standards for me. They're like, Dad, you can't date somebody with kids our age or kids older because that would be weird. You need to date somebody with like a little baby or a little toddler or something like that. And I'm just
But
like,
that's
oh,
because
interesting.
they would like that. They want a little toddler and baby to play
Exactly.
with.
Oh yeah, they want to know. They just like babies. They just like toddlers. So I was like, well, what if they have like a teenage daughter who's older, like maybe can do cool stuff with you? They're like, nah, I don't know. They want like a little baby. But I think, but then also like, you know, I think it'd be what that would be whatever, but would it be interesting, I think about is if I met somebody and I did introduce them to the girls and the girls were just like, Dad, no, this ain't it. No, 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 no. Like how much I'd have, and then maybe they have like, I'm sure it would be weird and awkward at first because I've never had that. So it'd be a big change for our whole family dynamic in general. So I would like understand if they're like, what? Like, why is this girl coming with us to the movies? Like, it's always us who go to three to go to the movies, or who's this person coming over for dinner or movie nights? Like that, I get naturally is going to be weird. But I'm talking about if she's been around for a while, has been to the movies with us, been to dinner, and the girls like have a good sense of who she is, and they're just like, Dad, she's not the vibe. We don't see it, and we don't, you know, maybe it's not even we don't like her. We just, I don't know, don't see it for her, for you. Like how much I would have to really take that into consideration about moving forward with that person. I think ultimately, to answer my own question, like it would just depend on what the girls, I guess, had to say, like what their comments and concerns were. I don't know. Like I legit, like I'm just thinking through out loud. Like I don't really know what that would even look like if it ever got to that point where they were like seeing red flags that maybe I didn't notice or something like that.
Yeah, but I feel like you cross that bridge when you get there, you know, like it's not like you could plan everything out perfectly. How, like,
Right.
you know, some people want to do that. They want to plan everything out perfectly, have the perfect
True.
timeline, everything. And that's just not how life goes. So
Yeah.
you'll figure that out when you get there. Like, sure, you could like think about like certain situations and like what you would do in certain situations, but you
Yeah.
can't plan everything to the T, you know, or to a T. But I'm a huge planner. Like I'm huge organizer planner
Right.
and like I plan for a lot of different scenarios in my head, which is probably part of like the OCD that I have. Like I plan for like a bunch of different outcomes and what I'll do for a bunch of different outcomes. And so like I like to be like prepared in a mental sense, I guess, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um and it's not like I could plan everything out perfect. It's not like I'm going to be like, okay, like if Grayson starts crying while this guy is here, like
Mhm.
he's a no go. Like I feel like everything is super situational and you
Yeah.
kind of like
True.
figure it out as you go. Like, cause, you know, what if Grayson is older and he's like, mommy, this guy's like kind of weird. And if, you know, it's not like,
Mm-hmm.
and what if I really, really like the guy and I've been seeing him for 6 months and it's like, okay, am I just going to cut him off because Grayson says he's weird, or am I going to say,
Right.
you know what, let's give him one more try. Like I want to see if
Yeah.
maybe he will be different like next time. Maybe you won't think he's as weird. Maybe you're just not comfortable yet, or you know, whatever. Like it's just like a situational thing. But like as parents, I feel like we're always going to do well for us, you and I don't know about everybody
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
For most of us, we're always going to do like what's best for us and our children. So like
Yeah.
you're going to know. You're going to know and you're going to figure out exactly what the perfect thing is for you guys. Like you might not know now, which could be like an angsty thing, but
Right.
when the opportunity arises, you'll know what to do. And it'll be the right thing.
Good point. I think I needed to hear that. I think how do I want to say this? How I want to say this. I think sometimes the older my girls get, the more intimidated I guess I sometimes get about the idea of dating because number one, we're so set in the routine of the three of us. Like we have our schedule, we have our daily lives that we're just good at navigating, and so the change that would come introducing somebody into our lives, especially she has kids, well, that is just it would be the more that they get older and the more we have this routine that works for the three of us, the thought of shaking that up, I guess, scares me a little bit sometimes. But then the older that they get and bringing them in somebody into their lives, number two, I think it's just like like I said, it's just you want to have everything planned out and like, okay, well, what happens in this situation? What happens in this situation? What happens if they're going to say this? Because they're older and they have more opinions and they're able to articulate things a lot better than when they were 3 or 4 and just kind of loved you if you brought them an ice cream cone, regardless of who you are. Like it's just very, very, very different now. And so like dating gets intimidating. And maybe sometimes I even use that as an excuse not to pursue certain relationships because I'm just like, no, like I just can't because I don't see that working with me and the girls or seeing her fitting in with the girls, or I'm not even going to try because the thought of changing that routine is so scary. So I'm just going to say that I'm good just doing me and I'll meet somebody after the girls turn 18 and XYZ. But I think maybe sometimes I use that as like a defense mechanism sometimes. And so I appreciate your words of like just going with the flow sometimes because I think sometimes I overthink a lot of that and then I just don't put any effort to putting myself out there because I don't know if I use my girls as and being a dad as an excuse, but I think it definitely puts up walls and I use it as like a defense mechanism sometime to not even try sometimes. So anyways, I appreciate you sharing some of that wisdom.
Yeah, yeah. Of course. I feel so good about it. Like I just feel like
I like it.
yeah, you know exactly what to do. Like it's hard to make decisions, but like it's going to be the right one, whatever ends up happening. But like we literally did all this chit chatting and I didn't even have a chance to talk about Jesse Draper.
Yes, that was going to be, yeah, I was going to find a way to segue because so I guess for context, I'm a big Bachelorette fan. I love reality shows, but I never got into Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I don't know why. I just never started watching it. But Jess, you've been a fan from
Yes.
the beginning, right?
Yeah, from the beginning.
So I don't even know I know who Taylor Frankie Paul is because of everything and Bachelorette stuff, but I don't know who this other person is. So you're going to have to fill me in on everything.
Yeah, actually, I think like I'll just tell you some background and maybe you just
Okay.
like react and give your opinion. So like basically,
Okay.
Jesse Draper is another person in the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She doesn't really practice Mormonism anymore, but I mean she used to be a part of what is that, the LDS church. So she just she has since stopped participating in that. So anyway, she is married to this guy named Jordan, and you know, like it, it's so hard because like, you know how they like say like oh, they had a really good season or a bad season, or like they had bad screen time or good screen time, like whatever. I feel like in the first like 2 seasons, you don't really notice like Jordan too much. Like, you know, I feel like the husbands aren't really like in the episodes. I feel like it's mostly just the wives, but as like the seasons continued, the guys are starting to like try to do this like dad talk thing because
I've heard about dad talk. Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, so like mom talk has always been a thing with the moms. And now like the dads, you know, because the moms get so much hype and they're the breadwinners of their relationships and getting all these opportunities, the dads obviously see that and they want to do their own thing and they want to try dad talk and, you know, whatever, which like more power to you, whatever. But like you really get a lot of insight to all of their relationships and how they are, like which ones are healthy, the things that people might be struggling with. You see arguments, all that stuff. I mean, not always though. I guess like whatever they decide to air and what's actually filmed. You don't know what goes on beyond closed doors, but I will say that if stuff is like being aired and talked about a lot, like I'm sure it's a much larger issue when the cameras are off. So like if you're seeing a lot of it when the cameras are on, I'm sure it's way worse when the cameras are off. So Jessie is like a hairstylist. Like she makes like most of her money, I think, like from her business, honestly. So she's like really fucking successful. Like she was named, I think this year, like woman, like entrepreneur, businesswoman of the year, or something like that, over Kim Kardashian.
Dang. Jeez.
Yeah. So like she's like boss babe, like up and rising, whatever. So she's extremely successful. And now that she does like, you know, the Mormon Wives stuff and all of the social media stuff, like she is even double, like triple successful, you know, so she's just insanely successful, really driven, works hard, whatever. And her husband, Jordan, is just like, I don't know. They don't have like a good, healthy relationship. I think he's a little bit like emotionally abusive. Yeah, like he just like says mean, hurtful things, like puts her down a lot. Like I don't think they communicate well. Like I think he just doesn't really treat her well. And I think he yells at her and raises his voice a lot. So it's just not a good relationship altogether. And so like, you know, you only really know what happens based off of, you know, what airs on the show. But you know, there are like things like accusations that happen like on social media and all that stuff. And so basically there was a scandal because Jessie basically had an emotional affair, is what she was calling it, with some other guy, a really handsome guy at that.
Okay.
She was just like talking and texting to this guy like a lot. And and I think they had like met up a handful of times, like never had sex or anything like that. But I think she did kiss him twice, like when she was drunk, because she doesn't practice Mormonism. And so she can drink. And so she said when she was drunk, like they had kissed twice. And she owned up to it. Like she said, I fucked up. But now I'm going to therapy and working on my relationship and all these things. But I think because she was feeling so neglected or whatever by Jordan, that's why she was like seeking out like stuff from another man, and a guy was giving her compliments and telling her she looked good and that she's successful and like that they really care about her, and like she just doesn't get that from her husband. So like I get it. But like who knows? Like you don't actually know, that's just what they say. So basically, like, they were having times where, like, Jesse wasn't sleeping at the house. Like, he was sleeping at the house and she basically was, like, living in a hotel room. Like, they were just splitting constantly. Just an unhealthy relationship. So basically, um, in this last season, Jesse basically, like, in her interviews, and, like, when it's an individual interview, like, you don't see what they talk about until it actually airs in the season.
Right.
And so she basically talked about like the potential of getting a divorce and ending it. But the only thing is that like they had a prenup and stuff. And like, I don't know if it was actually like signed correctly or like notarized the right way or something like that. And so she was like, he could take half my money if we get divorced. And that's just going to like fuck me. Like, he doesn't need millions and millions. Like, I worked so hard for my money. And because he's a bitch, like, he's definitely going to try and take all my money. And so she like didn't file for divorce or anything like that. And now that the season aired, Jordan filed for divorce without telling her and told TMZ. So that TMZ can say that Jordan filed for divorce and not her, even though she was going to do it. Yeah. He filed for it like being a petty like bitch. And then she did the Call Her Daddy podcast and basically talked about how like he was using her money for escorts, like and like he didn't make any money. Like she supported the family and like just like other things that went on in their relationship and how he actually was like kind of shitty and stuff. So like that's like another big thing. Like what do you think? Like I don't know. It's like crazy. I feel like you have to like you need to get the backstory of everything because
I'm gonna have
like
to
I
go
can
on
only
like
explain
a
so much.
deep dive to see all the lore. But that I mean, just even what you told me is crazy. Like I just don't understand men sometimes because I just know for myself, I guess I speak for myself as usual. Like I just think about the fact that if you have a boss wife who's super successful, entrepreneur, killing it, doing the things, like, again, I don't know these people. I don't even know much of the context except what you just shared. But like, in my opinion, like as a man, you'd want to like hype that up. And I think that's super cool and figure out like how you can stand by her and support her. And I get tired of hearing these stories about women who try to be successful like that and build businesses and brands and who are killing it and doing the thing. And then their husbands or boyfriends or whatever, because most likely insecurities, because she's out making a lot of money and you're not making as much or any money. And she's the one paying the bills, like whatever, like that gets to guys for some reason. And then they sabotage it or they withhold emotional availability or love or anything like that, because at least, I mean, she must be making the money, but like that's their way of still controlling her and doing all these things and getting in her head. And like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, like making sure she's going crazy because you're not doing what you're supposed to do as the husband or the boyfriend. So all that to say, like, it's just sad that so many partners are willing to like throw that all away and fumble that just because they don't know how to truly hype up their partner. That's my first initial.
Well, you know what? A lot of the other dads are actually super supportive. Like a lot of them like quit their jobs so they could be full-time like stay-at-home dads, like, and they support their wives like fully. So, but there are just like, one or two that aren't super supportive, but the rest of them are like, they're really, really supportive. They like take care of the kids, like, take care of their wives. Like, so that whole situation, it's just so crazy how like a guy could, like it sucks that like when you're involved with a guy, like how much, or when you're involved in a relationship, it could be the other way around. You're involved with a girl, whoever it may be, you're involved with someone, and how it could really just like change your life. It could change your life for like the better or for the worst. So I feel bad for like Jesse and I feel bad for Taylor, but I do know that Jesse, like ever since she let him go, like she is like obviously like struggling, but she's like thriving, like she's just like doing the things like it was holding her back. And now she's, obviously she still struggles and stuff, but it puts her in this like better spot to where she could have this like amazing glow up. And I feel that is going to be coming for Taylor Frankie Paul. You know, I feel like she's
Yeah.
down at the dumps struggling. Like she's going to have this like immaculate like glow up and, you know, value herself and work on things and whatever. So I just kind of like foresee that, you know, for the future for her. And I hope she can do it. I have faith, you know.
I hope so too, for them and for their kids, but mostly for themselves, especially when you're in that spot, in the spotlight, on TV, on TikTok, everywhere. Because the thing with being in the spotlight like that, being a celebrity or influencer or whatever, is that it could be so fleeting, right? Like you can have all these followers, all these people who want to talk about you and post their think pieces and make videos and have all these thoughts, and you know, whether they're booing you or cheering you. But the thing with being in that spotlight like that and how people are nowadays, or people in general, like there's always going to be something else like around the corner that's going to be capturing people's attention, right? So Taylor Frankie Paul is all over TikTok for a week or two. It was everything talking about, and then now it's somebody else that TikTok's talking about, and next week somebody else that TikTok's going to focus on, and 3 months of getting now people are going to be moved on to something else. Like that's just how. So like I have a lot of, like you said, hope and support for these people, because when you're in the public eye like that, the public eye is just so easy just to use you and talk about you and make their videos about you and make their content about you, and then drop you and leave you and move on to somebody or something else. And then you're stuck there, still broken, still hurting, still all these things, and people are like, well, you're old news, so bye, we're on to the next thing. So like that's why I really hope these people in these spotlights can just prioritize themselves, prioritize their kids, because the public eye is going to come and it's going to go. The brand deals are going to come, they're going to go. It's all so fleeting. It just changes so much. There's always just something else around the corner. So you just got to do what you got to do to make sure you're healthy, make sure your kids are healthy, because at the end of the day, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 months from now, when everybody's moved on to the next thing, you'll just still have what's important and who's important by your side. So by some crazy chance, Jesse and Taylor, if you ever see this episode of the Single Parent Podcast, that's my message to you. I hope you guys just do what you got to do for yourself and your kids, and I hope you can have that glow up and lead happy lives as moms for many, many years. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, no, you crushed it. I feel like you said it so well. Like, I wish they would listen to this so they could hear that from you. Seriously. I feel like that was so good.
Like, I know being famous is cool and all, but like at the end, like we said, we'll circle back to what we said at the very beginning. Like at the end of the day, these are just still people, especially in this case, these are still parents. They're just still moms. And so you just gotta remember that, and they have to remember that. Like, yes, again, you have millions of followers, but at the end of the day, you're a mom, or you're Taylor, or you're Jesse, and you just need to care about that and cherish that. And I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Like, I don't know why, like, I've been thinking about the fact that like in 100 years from now, or you can even shorten that, 50 years from now, 20 years from now, like what's really going to matter? What are people even going to remember? What was it? Oh, I saw a video recently about this lady who got into a fight with her husband because her husband was basically like, hey babe, like let's go upstairs. Maybe the kids are out of the house or maybe they're asleep. So let's go upstairs and have some adult time. And she was down. She's like, okay, cool. You go upstairs. I'll meet you upstairs. And he went upstairs. But before she went upstairs, she went down to their laundry room and took the laundry out of the dryer. And I guess it was just a lot, like more than she thought it was. And so she was like, got the clothes out of the dryer and was trying to take them upstairs, but it was a heavy basket, and she was calling for her husband, and he was already upstairs in the bedroom getting ready for adult time, and maybe he just didn't hear her calling. And so she came in the room with the basket and she threw it down, and she got frustrated because he didn't hear her, and she has all these clothes she needs to fold, and kind of basically like the fun mom and dad time, the mood was over. The vibes were killed. the mood was gone. And so like people's point was that, and maybe even I was thinking about that, like just a small example, but like, you know, you're married with your husband, your wife, 20 years from now, are you going to remember the fact that you chose to fold that big pile of clothes at that exact moment? Or are you going to remember the times that you bonded and spent intimate time with your spouse? Or you can take another example. For me, I get like this with my girls. Like they say, "Hey, Dad, can we go to the park?" And I look at the sink, and there's dishes in the sink, and I'm like, "No, we can't go to the park right now because I need to do these dishes, and then I got to go do this, and I got to do that." And 20 years from now, is it going to matter if I did the dishes right in that moment or put them off till later that night? Or is it going to matter that my kids knew I went to the park with them and spent some quality time? Like, I know, like, you know, sometimes you do have to just buckle down and be like, no, I need to get the dishes done. But the point, you guys get the point. The point is what's really going to matter at the end of the day, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, especially as you're raising kids. Like, maybe think about that and then maybe start prioritizing things based around the answer to that question, because that's just something I've been thinking a lot about lately.
You are just speaking the truth, but you're so right. Like you have to focus on
Yeah.
like the things that truly matter, you know.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, like it's just like a small thing and you got to focus on the big things. And I know that Jesse and Taylor are going to focus on those big things. They're going to figure their shit out. We're going to figure our shit out, and we're just going to keep flourishing and flying and thriving like little butterflies.
Like butterflies, are they known for thriving? I guess so, because they start as little caterpillars and then they turn into big flying.
bloom,
I don't know. That's a good.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know.
I like it. Butterflies.
I don't know.
That works for me. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out. It's been good. I missed you guys. We got some cool stuff coming up the next couple of weeks. I think we have some cool guests coming up, and the weather is just getting nice, and so our own vibes. I was telling Jess, maybe if you're watching the YouTube version of this, can you guys see how good she's looking? You see that post vacation tan and glow she has right now? Like, this is what we're talking about. It's this time of year.
Yeah, I don't even look that dark, to be honest. Like, I feel like the darkness is kind of like gone, but maybe that's because I see myself every day. I don't know.
True, yeah.
I'm like
yeah,
ready to put self tanner on.
No, see, the vibes are good. Everything's good. Like you said, we're thriving. So you guys just make sure you do all the things, subscribe, share, blah, 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 because we're going to keep cooking over here, keep doing this thing. So stick around. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time on the Single Parents Podcast. Until next time. Bye.
Peace and blessings.